We're waiting on, oh, there's Ralph.
Can you all hear me? Okay, great. Let's continue on this way.
Okay. Okay, we good? Go? All right. I would just briefly, I want to appreciate everyone's thoughts and statements over the course of the past week, what happened in the Capitol. If we were not on this blasted Zoom call and we're in person, I would probably say more things, but obviously our country's in a tight spot. But I want to thank, I know even on this call we have differing opinions, but I think with local government and people on this call is proof that politics has a time and a place. Capital, there's no place for that. And we'll leave it at that. But that is it from communication from the mayor at this time. Aldermen, Alderwomen, comments? We good?
I mean, I'll jump in. Thank you, Zeb. It's been a really hard week for America and everybody, and Canton is no exception to that. And I do appreciate there were a lot of people that reached out to check on us, to make sure that we're doing okay. And I look forward to us focusing on moving forward together. And I believe that we can. It'll take some time, but we will get there. I had a couple of comments just from local, and one of them is a thank you to the Haywood County Commissioners because they approved a Parks and Rec plan update, and that opens the opportunity for additional grants from the state. So I did want to say thank you to the commissioners for approving that expenditure from their budget. And then, of course, that leads me to thanking town staff for a myriad of things, but we'll stick with the highlights right now. And one of them is Nick, you did a great job on the YouTube video promoting Burn Park within Chestnut Mountain. It's really exciting to see that moving forward and the excitement around it. And then, of course, town staff, thanks for organizing this and posting it on YouTube. I don't know how that's going right now. Maybe it's on its way. And then I also wanted to say thank you for posting on the web about Martin Luther King Day and service interruption information and anything along those lines. It's very important. That's one of the questions I always get when it comes to a holiday is, when will my trash be picked up? And so it's making it easy for everybody in town. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone else at this time? Okay. Tim?
I'd just like to go ahead and say thank you to the street department for getting on top of salting town and getting ready for the storm that was predicted to be a whole lot worse than it was. But hey, they were at least ahead of the game and took care of that and made sure that everybody was able to get out and go to work and do all the stuff they needed to do. The other side of it is just touching on what you said as far as the events of last week. It's one of those things where it was horrific to watch. It was a terrible thing to be a part of, or to have our country have that episode in our history. It's one of those things where care of that we have to be able to understand that we do have to find middle ground somewhere. It doesn't always have to be on everything, but we have to find some middle ground somewhere. All right, thank you. That's all I have.
One quick comment from me, and I was talking with Christina about this before everybody else joined. And what we need to do is remind people about the seriousness of COVID-19. I've been in conversation with a few people who said they would not take the vaccine even when it becomes available because they don't trust it. And also had conversations with people who said that they would not wear face masks. Unfortunately, many of the people I'm talking to are members of my own family. And as a board, we have got to stress to people, our constituents and family members, anyone, about the seriousness of this situation. That we've got months ahead, and Christina and I again spoke about this, that it's going to be summer at best, trying to keep people informed and to remind them of their responsibility to one another. And that's all I have.
Any other comments? Okay. We'll now move on to public comments. Okay. With there being none, report to the manager. Cash report.
I'm here. Sorry,
Yep.
sorry. Part of our problem was we were hearing the YouTube video playback as we're going through the Zoom call. So in your checking, currently you have $298,721.36. Total investment amount to $7,265,784. Of that, North Carolina Capital Trust, $4,064,828. Home Trust Bank Money Markets, $3,209,055. For the month of December, we accrued interest in North Carolina Capital Trust at $33.75 at 0.01%. Home Trust amounted to $1,356 at 0.55%.
Any other reports from the manager?
As you probably have heard, the dog park is essentially functional right now. Part of that funding, $20,000 of that came from Crusoe Endowment, and that is theoretically open. Wanted to talk to you all about when you would be looking at a possible soft opening, grand opening on that. But our guys have completed all the mulch, the water fountains have been installed, the fencing is up. The dirt that you see around the walkway going through from the parking lot to the other side of the ballpark or the basketball court is seeded, strawed, everything like that. We are going to be looking at getting away from the police tape and actually doing some other kind of fencing or something that looks a little bit more inviting than the police tape part. But essentially the park is open. So is there a will by the board to look at doing a grand opening for that?
There is with me if it's within a certain time frame, but I know a lot of people, that's one of the biggest comments that they were excited to see when they would go to the rec park. So please thank town staff for us and all that hard work and partnership with our partners to get that funded. Yeah, if there's opportunity, I would definitely be there.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely theoretically do something maybe even next week. Like I said, the signage is out there. The receptacles are out there. All that's out there. The guys put down straw today just to kind of delineate what is not dirt, mud, but also going to be grass. So I think it would be fair to say that we could go ahead and move with that next week maybe. If anybody else is amenable.
Would it be possible to do this virtually as well? Because again, the concerns about the spread.
We could probably figure out a way to do it by cell phone, Facebook Live or something like that. Sure.
Right.
Yeah, you could Facebook Live an opening. Yeah, that's fair, Ralph.
Jason, when do you expect to have signage out there? Is that something we should wait on, or what's your
There's
time frame?
signage already out there in terms of rules, regulations, that kind of thing, in terms of like naming it as Canton Dog Park, not there. But I think at the same time, we could unveil the project as a whole relatively quickly.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Any other reports, Jason?
No, not this time.
Okay. We'll now move on to old business and offer to purchase.
As we discussed at the last meeting, there has been an offer to purchase a piece of property. The address, the PIN number is 8656-88-8963. It is located off of Pisgah Drive. I think it's 117 Pisgah Drive. It amounts to 0.17 acres. And the market value is listed by the county at $11,500. We have received an offer from an adjacent property owner there at 115 Pisgah Drive for $500.
Okay. Right. Is there, Jason, any other information we need to be aware of? No.
Not that I'm aware of. I know the individual that was interested and that placed the offer was sent the information that it would be conducted over Zoom, this meeting. So he had the availability to be a part of this meeting if he so chose.
Okay.
And I will add that as it was advertised, this piece of property currently at roughly 7,400 square feet is non-conforming with our existing 8,000 square foot minimum lot size requirement.
Okay. All right. Are there any motions on the floor?
I'll make the motion that we discuss the sale of this property. So
I'll second.
Okay.
So when I was reviewing it today about the intent to purchase, my biggest concern, you guys, was around such a big infrastructure hub with the brand new project of the roundabout. And so I'm actually inclined to say, no, I don't want to sell this piece of property right next to something like that we might need to utilize in the future. But my biggest thing is right now, so close to infrastructure that, especially new infrastructure, that we might need to use it.
And this is Tim. I agree with Christina on that point. I also feel like that if we were to consider selling it, then we would have to ask for the fair market value as well. So I wouldn't entertain that offer.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Well, if I understand the 2 points, first of all, the parcel is not for sale. And if it were for sale, we would expect a fair market price for it.
And just to make myself clear, I don't feel like that it needs to be, it's not for sale at this point.
Okay. Okay. Any other discussion? Tim, I just want to be clear. Exactly what was your motion?
Just to discuss this as far as this, whether we would be willing to sell the property for the offer or not. And so
okay. Let me try to clean this up very quickly. So the motion in front of us is to discuss this piece of property. All right. And then there was a first, there was a second, there was discussion. All in favor of discussing this, say aye.
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 Now, is there a motion on the floor to accept the offer of purchase on 117 Pisgah Drive? Okay. Without a motion, we will now move on to new business, resolution of stormwater notice of violation.
And Nick and I are going to tag team this a little bit, but basically what you have in front of you is a resolution by the board acknowledging that we received a NOV from MPDEC for MS4 programs. Basically what that says is it relates to stormwater and our stormwater ordinance and our stormwater plan. FEMA has recently, probably within a year and a half, began to come down on the state for a lack of their oversight of stormwater ordinances and stormwater plans. That has been passed on to municipalities, and a requirement that their permits all be put into a new template in terms of the plan part of things. Of all municipalities, my understanding is only Newton has been in compliance with the new plan requirements. So everyone is basically getting a notice of violation and going through the audit process for stormwater oversight. Nick and I conducted our audit probably 2 months ago with the state, and while we are not deficient, our plan itself is not in compliance with the new requirements via the template that they're requiring and implementation. So everyone in North Carolina is more or less having to accept this notice of violation with the idea that sooner than later, based on the parameters the state issues, we're going to have to come into compliance. So this is not a notice of violation in the sense of we're getting fined. It's more of a notice of violation, the fact that you're deficient, and they're going to allow us, as every other municipality, to correct the inefficiencies and comply with their plan requirements. And also, if you read this resolution, it states in there what the parameters are in terms of notice of violation deadlines, acceptance, and then also to plan submittal, which Nick's been working on with the state. And we're probably, I'd say 2 months, 3 months away from getting them that plan and their template that they want for review by them. So while a notice of violation is always something that is somewhat concerning, this is not as much one of those concerning NOVs. It's more, we're on notice, you accept that we're on notice that we're going to have to correct our inefficiencies.
Jason, I apologize. My phone dropped, so if you said this, please excuse my question, but is there an additional cost to this that we need to allocate funds for or anything like that?
No, not this time. Basically, this part is purely just putting our intentions for stormwater preservation into the newly adopted plan. From there, we'll discover exactly what that review is, and also too, we may, if there's additional costs to the town to implement some of these things, that'll be something that'll be discussed during budget time. But ultimately, right now, we're just kind of putting our stuff and our program into their template, which they just recently created.
So this doesn't affect, it shouldn't affect our permit or any of the stuff that goes along with all the stuff that what we're doing with our current plan now.
No, and I'll actually turn this a little bit to Nick, and he can elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, so our existing stormwater, hey guys, our existing stormwater permit, I think is good until 2022, and then by resubmitting this plan and coming into compliance, then they'll reissue another 5-year MS4 permit. And we actually, the plan is complete, and it's been submitted, and now we're just waiting on review. Once we have reviewed that process, then we'll set up kind of the protocols that plan requires, if there are any that we're not currently addressing. So we feel good about kind of where we're going, and the audit, we were, any audit you have is cause for concern, but we were pleasantly surprised by the findings, and this is just sort of kind of protocol in that process.
Okay.
And I'll add real quick that the big thing with the stormwater is where runoff is going. They don't want it going into the river per se if it's untreated. Say, for instance, if you have like a salt bin at your shop, they want to make sure that that salt is not going to make its way into the river via your stormwater. Same thing too. They're looking at like exactly. We did a plan. It's probably 2017, maybe a little bit. Or no, it was 2007,
Yeah.
I believe, with McGill that did a stormwater plan for us. And basically that identifies all our outfalls and identifies those on a map. So we know exactly where potential illicit discharges are coming into the river via properties or whatever else. So it's more the inspection of that and fitting that into their template, which we regularly inspect those and we keep a log of when Johnny, it's like clean catch basins. We do that on a regular basis. Johnny logs that. We just need to put it into a, like, say for instance, a spreadsheet that is easily transmissible to the state per se. So we're not really in violation. We just don't have all the information in the plan that they're wanting. We're doing the work. It's just not in the right form. How about that?
Thank you, Jason.
Okay. Next, set budget work session.
Nope. That would require a vote.
Oh, okay. Is there a motion to accept the resolution concerning stormwater notice of violation?
Make that
I
motion.
make that motion.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed. Resolution passes. Okay. Next, the set budget work session.
We've talked on several occasions, I think, and probably collectively and also as individuals about the potential of having a budget work session sometime in January. I think the date that was thrown out was Martin Luther King Day, which is going to be the 18th of this month. Based on normally we would be having the Martin Luther King breakfast, but we've customarily held the workshop after that. So just wanted to get a feel, make sure everybody's good with that moving forward. My expectation would be we started at 9 o'clock in the morning and we should be done before lunch, I would say by 11:30 probably at the latest, just to kind of give a vision for staff on how we want to move through, or at least initially move through planning for the budget for following year.
Sounds great to me.
Good.
Forward to it.
Okay.
Nope, should I have to vote on it?
Oh, I got to vote. All right. Is there a motion?
Special call meeting.
One of those days. Is there a motion that we set our budget work session for this Monday at 9 a.m.?
I'll make the motion.
And is there a second?
I second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, the extension of the solid waste recycling contract.
I have mentioned to several of you, however, may not all of you all, but Roger Henson Contracting is our current solid waste provider for the town of Canton, has been for probably the last 7 years. We initiated a 5-year contract with him to begin with, and we've extended that twice. He is looking at relinquishing his solid waste business, and in conversation with him, he has looked at placing us with a potentially subcontractor, more or less, for service dealing with solid waste collection and recycling collection. That would theoretically be Waste Pro at this moment. It would be for the same price. However, we would probably need to enter into a term contract with that contractor for those services. So if it works for the board, what I would like is a consensus to continue negotiation and formalizing a contract with them for that continued service at that continued price.
Sounds good, Jason.
Is Waste Pro what Buncombe County has?
Correct. How many grandkids do you have, Gail? Hey, that's Ralph's. That's Ralph's house.
These are Ralph. That's Ralph's house. Do you think mine look this good?
Jason, I assume we do not need a motion on that.
Ultimately, if I would like a motion to direct the town manager to continue negotiating and provide back a contract to you at your next meeting.
Okay. Is there a motion that we instruct the town manager to basically enter contract negotiations for the replacement on our solid waste contract?
I make that motion. Yeah.
I second.
What a team.
Any further discussion? All in
Thanks for
favor?
doing
Aye.
that.
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Any other business in front of the board at this time?
Not that I have. If anybody has any questions, staff would be more than willing to entertain those.
Will there be food on Monday?
No. I hope to have you in and out before lunch.
I was talking about breakfast.
Gail,
Big eater.
If you're lucky, I'll bring you a biscuit, which you won't eat.
I won't eat it.
Okay, the next the work
We can't hear.
the next Saturday in Walter Clark Board Chambers and our work conference chambers at the town hall. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make that motion.
I second it.
All right, is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
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 There we go. We are adjourned.